G'day everyone. Proud to say Bar Karate is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners, welcome to Bar Karate, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where I get to hang out with some really cool sailors. But of course I have to share the mic with two random international people. That's right. First off, Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
BP.
That was pretty weak.
I lost the actual structure of the word.
Just stick with the idiots, mate.
Somebody complained. I can't handle complaints.
How are you? Good evening and good day, whatever you might be. I've had a wonderful day.
A wonderful.
Yeah, just out doing a little bit of yachting on this beautiful Sydney Harbour. I mean, it just doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, good on you.
Let's late July. Yeah. 23 degrees.
Yeah.
Light nor'easter. Just beautiful.
It is
had
glamour.
a ball. Yeah.
Glamour. Cool. Well, let's bring in the other bloke because he certainly didn't go sailing today.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
Best type of sailing, upwind at 790 knots. Kia ora, bros. Kia ora.
Yeah.
In the land of the long white cloud. Just taking your room over BP.
Yeah, I noticed that. I saw the TV in the background. Looks exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly. There's a few random socks just lying around. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, damn it. I was wondering where they went.
Are we allowed to say why you're there or not?
No, more to come.
More to come.
Copy. Stay tuned. So people listening this week may have seen it, but if you're listening in early, stay tuned.
Boys,
big news. Big news.
Yeah, huge news. I was telling you about those bump cap things I discovered.
Oh, yeah. The hard hat.
Yeah, they're like a hard
hat. / trucker's cap.
Yeah, they look like a cap, but they've got a bit of padding in to stop. They're kind of like, if you like a bit of cricket, they look a lot like a cricket helmet. Well, they look like a baseball cap, but they got protection in. Anyway, I decided to buy one because I've got a fin now, and I'm trying to work out how to tack. And I was watching a few videos, and they all go head first and then really low, duck their head right down, and then sort of come up underneath the boom.
Do the arch. They do the arch.
Yeah. So I thought I'd copy that, and I did about 15 tacks, and I smacked my head 15 times. Just fully, the bump cap was definitely a winner. I'm glad it wasn't 20 knots.
So the opposite of the Frosby flop. It's the Jordan
the opposite
duck.
of the Frosby flop. You're right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Never thought. But anyway, the bump cap, absolute winner, kids. If you've never heard of a bump cap, B-U-M-P, and you smack your head.
Mate, he's getting commission here, isn't he?
No.
I like the way he's gone bump cap, B-U-M-P.
I'm just thinking of the kids. Opposite
to the bum cap, which is the B-U-M cap.
What we put on you. Oh, dear. Hey, I want to bring our guest in straight away because we'll have a good laugh with this bloke. So I'm sort of keen to add to the conversation. So you guys happy if I bring him in?
Yeah.
Okay. We've known this bloke a long while. He is definitely a legend of the background of our lives, in terms of ocean racing. One of the top Kiwi pros that's out there and been going for a long while now, has an enviable record in the ocean race. So I think, how many do you do? 1, 2, 3, is it 5 or 6? I think it's 6 now, but it's got started with a 6th, then a 3rd, then a 2nd, then a 1st, then a 1st, and then of course just one with the 65 this time around as well. So I guess we should just say welcome to Bar Karate, Daryl Wislang. How are you, my friend?
Very good. Thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be with such esteemed company.
Well, speaking of esteemed,
let's not get too carried away, mate.
Do they
those other two blokes are just kind of random dudes.
we just behind the scenes, I don't know if we ever told you this. We used to, instead of saying get on the podium, we used to say get up on Daryl Wislang's steps. Because you just lived up there, mate. It was hilarious.
Yeah. No, it's been a good run, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's all down to you.
Oh, totally.
100%.
I got to say,
Question.
I've had the privilege of spending a lot of time with you, Daryl, and obviously back in the old days, we definitely enjoyed the industry. It was young, it was fun, and to see the heights that you reached was awesome. Very super proud of you. But the results that you've got since obviously the Telefonica days,
Since he stopped hanging out with you.
yeah, since you've left my sort of wing, because I did, it was under there.
Is that the right or the left one?
Yeah, the left. The right
Definitely
was no
not
good.
the right.
The right was no good.
That one's no good.
She got no bicep.
He's got no bicep, the right one. But mate, what a fantastic career, eh? You've got to look back and go, how many good times was there involved in that lot?
Yeah. No, it's like the I guess starting off with the Shore Crew team and Movistar in 2005. It was moving on and upwards, and you pay your dues on the Shore team like Bicey obviously did, and you turn out sailing. So just I guess a pathway that a lot of guys are trying to pave out right now, and it's nice to nice to be here and nice to enjoy the spoils, if you like.
Before we kind of get into where you cut your teeth, so to speak, what most recently was, of course, bringing the team into Genoa smoked them, by the way.
In the Whisper.
In the Wind Whisper for the win. That's got to be pretty up there, right?
Yeah, I think that's sort of a highlight. We got lucky coming out of the English Channel. There's a big light spot we had to cross, between France and the UK, and we knew we basically had to go west. That was the game plan, and getting out of there before the tide turned. And as the tide turned, the light spot got bigger and bigger, and subsequently you saw on the track of the guys just fell further and further off the back, and from there it was just
Covering.
I guess it was pretty comfortable, but stressful at the same time, because how do you cover someone that far behind?
It's the rubber band theory.
Yeah. Well, it was, the rubber band was broken. It was
let's put Mallorca between us and the other boat.
Yeah. So the discussion coming off the Algerian coast was basically, I think we just got another lot of weather, and the position reports were pretty frequent, because you have access the whole time nowadays, and we'd made the decision that we were going to sail the fastest way to Genoa, and the last weather came in, and Axel sort of woke me up after he'd run all the numbers and head scratched, and apparently been pretty grumpy for a good part of the watch.
You or Axel?
Axel, I was asleep. And Axel, he said, "Oh, we can get back to the shore." He said, "We've got to put the kite up, and we've got to go back to the shore, and we'll end up 50 miles ahead of them." And I was like, "Oh, I just don't think I can do it." We're coughing up 70 miles to be in the same water, and then it's a lottery basically from there. There was risk in what we did, but we could have sat for 10 hours and still been ahead. That's sort of the mentality that we used in the decision making. We had a good lead, and to spend that amount of miles going back to cover the fleet on the coast wasn't going to be any good, and obviously it paid out pretty well. I think the max distance was almost 200 miles.
Yeah, nice. And what plenty of speculation about this edition of the race, but obviously bringing the 65s in for that last leg. How was it in Genoa? Was it all it should have been? From the pics, it looked pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think you take a couple of steps back and go back to Aarhus, and it
Of course.
would have been a pretty dismal looking stopover if the 65s weren't there.
Yeah,
Start with.
exactly.
And love them or hate them, they certainly serve their purpose, and they're a robust boat for ocean racing. Obviously we had a great involvement in the early stages of the Imoca design and build with Wholesome PRB. That was the switchback boat that we'd done a lot of design work and obviously had 49% built for the ocean race, and it would have been great to be out there on that, but that wasn't to be.
I'm going to put you on the spot, Daryl. Bicey, close your ears, please. Daryl, do you like the 65s?
Yeah. Like, they're great for what they are. Like, if you want to go for a yacht on a really
the world
fast boat, then they're probably not the right boat to do it on. I'd rather do that on a, like a Volvo
Comanche.
7 or a Comanche or something like that. But in terms of a boat that you can rely on, and it's going to get you through a lot of conditions and what you put it through, they're hard to beat. Like, I don't think there's any boat that you can. That's what it is.
That's what we know. I mean, like Bicey and Jordan have obviously got a lot more to do than I have.
Yeah.
It from a spectator's point of view, it produced. I still believe to this day, produced some of the most magnificent sailing that we've seen.
Yeah, like maybe not as quick and everything as what the Imocas are, but in their right conditions, they're still a pretty good boat to yacht around on, and I think the big thing is it's very easy to get 98% of the performance out of them, or 97% of the performance out of them. But just about you can do that just about on day 2 or 3. But it's getting knowing what to do on the last 3% makes a pretty big difference at the end of it.
Yeah, I think you must. Sorry, mate. You must just go like if they're looking at the star of the Fastnet we just had. Like if you're on one of those things, you're just going, oh, beauty.
Got to say, perfect boat for it.
Yeah, no stress.
Totally. Yeah, just sheet on and off you go.
Yeah.
Put some water in and be good.
Hey, we never really went into the switchback story. Maybe we'll do that at some point. But what was your observations with the 60s? And how do you see it the next 10 years? So the race, they've announced a 10-year plan.
Yep.
You see that coming into fruition, and this was a bit of a feeler?
I haven't actually read the 10-year plan. What is it?
Oh, basically they want
10 years.
Do 2 or 3 more races in 10 years.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah. No, and to be honest, it's I think from the outside, I think they're awesome boats, and the development is something that obviously excites most sailors. The appeal of sailing around downwind, downstairs, I'm not 100% sure I'm au fait with that. I'll probably get seasick.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have a bit of wind in your face and get a splash of water. But I think they're going to go, so far. I think the boats are almost turning out to be completely monolithic now.
Yeah.
I think even in Aarhus, the 11th hour, they were chopping D-lam out of the back of the boat. Still, so they got that far around the world and they've done that much training. They were still, having core share problems in the back section. So, I think they're more and more getting to monolithic, and then that's that brings on another one that's it's maybe 6 mil thick. So you've got 6 mil between you and a whole lot of ocean. So there are, there's different things to weigh up, and I think they will end up with elevators of some description.
To sort of guide them a bit, to help them out.
Well, yeah, to just make it, basically make it safer. Because at the moment, the bowels are getting fatter and fatter and fatter to stop the big nosedive stops, when you fall off the foil. And I think the side loading, there was quite a few rudder, not rudder failures, but, the cracks and delam and stuff in the rudders as well from landing sideways, the boat spinning out and the rudders landing, re-entering the water, basically full sideways. And they normally sail, I think, downwind with 2 rudders in the water for obvious reasons, just in case you wipe it out.
So hypothetical, someone gives you a contract for the next ocean race in one of these boats. You jumping at it, or you're
what boats?
One of the Omokas,
right?
Which, thinking 3 or 4 years down the track, thinking where Omokas were 3 or 4 years ago, there's a whole lot more advancement in technology about to come into it. You're jumping at that, or you're saying, just bring the 65s back?
Well, I think the 65. I think that's sort of sailed.
It's I concur.
And the I think the race has already sort of announced and said that they won't be a part of it. But yeah, it completely depends on what that looks like. If someone says here's 6 million going to an ocean race campaign, I'll say probably no thanks.
Yeah. But he's 25 and I'll give it a crack.
Yeah. Like there's there are, certain criteria that you need to meet, and I guess things that you've become, you get used to, and having a well-funded team and structure and everything like that is pretty important. I think you lack in some of the maybe not the sailing side of it, because you'll normally find budget for getting the good jockeys on, but I think you sort of fall by the wayside a little bit on the prep and the shore side. Maybe the horseshoe riding's not quite as good as what it could be.
I think the real question is, would you enjoy it? No matter what the money.
Oh, I think I still would, yeah.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Absolutely.
And, because I like everyone knows, doesn't matter what sailing you do, you're always trying to go faster.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if you're sailing you're optimist, you're trying to go faster.
Well,
you're trying to go faster than the other guy on the optimist.
Pretty simple in these things. You just got to have lighter slippers and lighter clothes.
Well, actually, what do you reckon the next step is with these boats? If you look at a bit of a timeline the last 10 years.
I'm thinking monofilm Crocs for the start.
Yeah. I think you'd probably have a croc rack on your boat.
Absolutely, you would.
100%.
And that could double as the tiller for the import section. Don't use that.
I love it. I love the technology.
Tiller in the rack.
All here on Barkarati.
I was just going to say, now that we've started taking sponsorship, there are rumours out there of the Barkarati croc coming out.
Is there?
Yes. I don't want to spread too many rumours, but there have been rumours.
Well, no one listens to the show anyway, so that's not spread.
Anyway.
And what does Barkarati croc look like, Jordan?
We just have a nice big kraken coming around the bottom of your sole, wrapping up around your leg, grips on.
Oh, it's like octopus tentacles holding it together.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, she's a bit of an octopus wrap. Yeah.
I'm hearing where you're going.
Yeah.
What shop have you been looking in, Jordan? Come up with that.
It's his back. His shed. He's developing all this stuff himself.
Downstairs, he's got a little.
He went for a walk. Went for a walk out the front, and like a squid just wrapped around his ankle. And he's like, "Get off, you bastard!" Oh, actually, this is quite comfy.
A couple of weeks ago, it was the underwear, mate. I was designing underwear live on the show, so we're good.
And that was a cracking as well.
You're moving up then. Down as the case may be.
Bloody awesome.
But yeah, no, I think I think they'll amend the rule, the Amoka rule slightly in the near future, and well, if I was sort of involved with it, that's what I'd be suggesting, to make the put a minimum weight on the boats, on the hulls.
Yep.
And make sure that there's enough buffer in there that you're not just blowing boats apart. Because obviously,
which is kind of what led to the 65s with the 70s doing that. There was no minimum weight on the hull, and it just kept going and going and going, didn't it?
Yeah. And I think by the end of it, they were getting pretty relatively good. But that's the development thing, right? It's just the natural cycle, and no one likes making a boat heavier than it needs to be made. But I think there's been significant changes in the boats since the rule was written and since the mast was designed, and I think they're probably a little bit scared of obsoleting too many,
upsetting the rest.
It's always going to be the way. Yeah.
Well, given, like, for example, 30 boats just on the start line with at the fastnet, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always had this thought. And I could be completely wrong here, but basically the overhangs on the mockers with and the end of their boom is exactly at the transom of the boat now, and the bowsprit. But I've always thought, why not move the rig even further back? Have you ever sailed on a boat where the rig is too far back?
Mm.
Because I can almost what we're seeing now, more and more rake put in these boats, the rigs moving
It's
back
asking
and back
for the
and
rigs
back.
to go further back.
So boom, overhang, less bowsprit.
Mid-boom sheeting.
I think isn't there a
because it's off the back so much.
Not 100% sure, but I think there's a position for your D0.
Yeah, the
deck
D0,
spreader.
the deck spreader, correct.
Yeah.
So that would probably determine.
Yeah. But on switchback, we had the keel 500 mil further aft than, as far as I'm aware, any other boat has been built.
Yeah.
Because we're always of the theory that you can get the bow into the water, but it's pretty hard to keep it out.
Keep it out, yeah, correct.
So what about, if you take the foils further forward, what do you give up by taking the foils further forward?
Oh, well, you're just lifting the boat and dragging the arse more. You're not actually lifting the whole boat.
Which is then heading to rudder.
Yeah, that's right. If you put an elevator on the rudder, but the other thing is you get less crash downs. So,
with it forward.
Yeah.
No, I think because you end up by
porpoising, right?
Yeah, and then
porpoising
shoot out of the water and then back in. And but I think like Milizia was pretty quick with their foils, and I think they were a little bit more self-regulating for the ride height.
Yep.
So just the
more
shape.
Important.
Yeah. So just the shape of them was probably a little tighter, more of a sea foil. So more comes out of the water.
Yep.
You just take the lift off. But yeah, I think there's certainly you can do all you like on a hull shape, and it might give you a 0.1 of a knot, but your foil shapes are 2, 3, 4 knots.
It's interesting, this whole discussion, because effectively it's what's going on in the mini fleet at the moment. They've got the in water, standard boats. Then they've got the high foilers, and now they've sort of got this sort of low foiler setup they're starting to do. And they've put the elevators on the rudders now. They're starting to experiment with that. So I guess the mini fleet's doing the test.
Got to love the mini class.
Yeah, they're doing the testing for everyone. So
yeah, that's right. That's what they do anyway. Full stop.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's I think the first mini that had the elevators was probably 3-4 years ago, right?
Yep.
Not that it was class legal, but they were just having a bit of fun.
That's what we call it, having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting out there and spending a bucket load of money.
One of the things we might have to, I might take us on a little diversion here. One guy we've noticed a lot over the years on our show is a bloke called Brett Linton.
Yeah.
Now he's important to you, isn't he? We hear a bit from Bretto, and
Only good things.
only good things. Yeah. But he's pretty influential. Like he was the sailmaker that gave you your start, wasn't he?
Yep. So I basically down in Wellington. I left school and end of school and came up and started sailmaking for him for 6 years, and then I think his eldest daughter was 2.5. Penny, the middle daughter, was 3 months, and then Harvey wasn't even born. So sort of saw all of them grow up, and we've had a lot to do with them and still do. And Brett was our sailmaker with Dongfong, and Penny was our nanny, and now Harvey.
Isn't that a turn
of
events?
Yeah. And now Harvey's currently doing the deliveries on Wind Whisper.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a cool thing, and
is it Uncle Daryl?
Hey,
is it Uncle Daryl?
No,
just Dazza.
Yeah. But no, they're awesome family, and we still hang out a lot. And Penny does she did the Sunburst North Islands, which is the only class in father son, father daughter, parent child, whatever class in New Zealand. Main jib and spinnaker, a little bit like the Sabo and Aussie, but it's better. It's got a spinnaker.
Of course, it's better.
So,
of course.
So sailing for you, were you into it late or early? Like, I know.
No, I started about about 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, because your old man was into sailing, your mum was what, a water skier or something?
Yep. Yeah, mum was water skiing, basketball, all of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And Dad was sailing. Sailing and golf. So
how did that discussion? Did your mum try and make you become water skiers, how did sailing win out for you?
It was all about the siblings not getting on.
Oh yeah.
And,
so one water skied and one sailed.
Sounds like your family, BP.
Absolutely.
But basically, me and my older brother used to fight a lot and not get on, and so Mum and Dad decided that we'd get into sailing and work together, and you can't jump out and swim home, you got to sail home. So,
was that it? So you sailed together, you and your bro?
Yep. I thought you were going to say because no one ever fights on a boat.
Yeah. Oh no,
how did that go? How did that go? Was their philosophy right?
It was a pretty turbulent start.
Turbulence.
There's a couple of races where one was sitting at the transom and one was at the bow,
and the boat wasn't being steered or sailed; it was just going around in circles.
Yeah. But no, that sort of cemented our relationship into later life, and obviously I sort of carried on with it, and he's.
I'm assuming you get on with your bro now,
and now he's an architect or a lawyer or something.
Yeah.
No, he's the athletic director at an international school in Switzerland. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great title.
Yeah.
And all that was Wellington or
no, Nelson?
Oh, Nelson, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, down in sunny Nelson.
Yeah.
Sunny Nelson.
And then, the story we kind of know, but how'd that then lead you into the Movistar gig?
Sailmate. So I used to travel to Wellington sailing with after my brother had departed to go to teachers college. Me and a young fella used to come to Wellington to sail the Sunburst, and then met Brett through that because he was a Sunburst sailing and at the club, Worcester Bay Boating Club. A couple of might have heard of a guy, Josh Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He was a young nipper that I used to sail a sunny with when
taught him everything you know.
Yep, and basically started working for Brett. Said, "Oh, have you got a job?" And he said, "Yeah." And then the Movistar came through came through Wellington in 2005 on the way to
built at where was it built?
Boat Speed.
Boat Speed, and then came over.
Boat Speed
or something like that
in Sydney.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Gosford.
just above Sydney.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they sailed through Wellington and sort of knew of Stu Bannatyne, and just got chatting to them because they had some sail work to do, and they said, "Oh, do you want to come and have a trial in Rio?" And that's where it all started.
So growing up, so let's talk about
the boat finally arrived.
Boat finally arrived. Yeah.
Let's go right back. I mean,
one of the stopovers.
You've obviously gone and done your I guess let's call it a sail making apprenticeship or whatever you want to call it, whatever you did. How or when was it actually, fixed in your mind that you were going to take this path? Because it's been a massive path that you've taken. I mean, you were on the shore, you did all that, and then all of a sudden you've just launched yourself into this massive amount of results. I mean, big time results. Was that always on the cards? Was it always a push?
I think just the right teams, and lucky enough to be invited to go and sail on those teams.
Absolutely.
So, obviously after the Movistar with Bauer, I was in Valencia with a cup team as a sailmaker and a B-boat sailor, and Bauer rang up and said, "Oh, can you do you want to come and trial out for the ocean race?" He said, "Oh, we've only got, we're probably only going to have a bowman's position," and I said, "Oh, well, doesn't bother me," and so left the sailmaking job and went and picked up the Brazil one and.
We hung out in Alicante.
Picked up the little Arrakis, and off you went.
Yeah, and obviously, Batan or Pablo Arate, he was the other young fella on Telefonica Blue, so it was me and him and Pepe.
What a time! What a cool time it was.
And Ika and Jono and Laurent and
Jono and his protein shakes at the windward end of the container.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it was and from obviously, I think I've said it to a few people, but you view your first race as it's the adventure,
and then it becomes a focus.
You're pretty green. You don't really know what to expect. It's all it's quite a big operation and a shock to your system of what's actually going on, and I think once you get through that first part of it, and you're like, well, okay, now I want to win it, and that's I think that was the turning point is switching. Okay, this isn't just an adventure anymore, but everyone knows it's done it and watched it. It is totally an adventure, and it'll break you if you let it, but. The teams obviously with Camper, we probably again, still learning and a little bit green on the whole designs aspect of the team and getting into that. But I think we carved out a pretty big result for that boat.
Well, given the kill was in front of the mast.
Yeah.
I was just sitting here and I was thinking, I don't know if you heard the episode we had with Nettie.
Right.
Don't know if you heard that one. And we had to put out a bit of a warning to our listeners because every second word was F.
Yeah.
And that's probably because he sort of grew up with us with his English language, but he was sort of specifically talking about going down the face of a wave and both rudders would be out of the water on Telefonica Blue, and he wouldn't and he would know.
On the black.
He was on black, but it was obviously the same with blue.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't know which way the boat was going to go.
No.
And so it was kind of like, is that the adventure you're talking about?
Yeah. That was that one.
That's what you sign up for.
Every wave was an adventure.
Yeah. But to like we sort of took it one step further. We're like, before you get to the bottom of the wave, make sure the number's going up. Like you
make it a good one.
Like before you get to the bottom, make sure it's turning up, because if you can wipe out, all good. We'll sail away.
Yeah, going the other way.
If you go the other way,
no
she's
good.
no good. Yeah. So you had a philosophy in place.
Yeah. And I think that was, you might remember BP, the first leg, the reef, the fractional halyard sheave box wasn't quite what it could have been, and we kept on chafing out the lock strops.
Yeah.
So I had to put an external strop up the top. So A9's going up. Awesome. That means I'm going up the rig.
Clip it on.
I got to go strop it
Drop
off.
it off.
Put the
That
on,
has many meanings.
and then put a masthead halyard on it with a trip line, so we can martin break it.
So we drop her in the piss.
Yeah. So that was a good one. That was the adventure for sure.
Wow.
That whole Alicante experience was an adventure, to be honest.
Yeah.
Bloody awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the winning aspect of it, though, mate. Like, like you.
This is the cool part.
There's so many people fight, but you just seem to, like you said, sure, it's the teams, but there's got to be more to it than just that. Like, did you get to select your teams? Like, did you have your choices of teams, or did you, it was just first call I went with, and it was all. Not all of the time. You sort of get a gut feeling of a team pretty quickly on, who's calling, who's involved, and obviously all of those things come into play. And I think I was lucky to be involved with Abu Dhabi. They had the whole team set up. The program was well and truly running, and Animal called me and said, "Hey, I've got a overlap. I'm just been offered a cup job, and I really want to take it, but I want to have someone in place to take my position before I tell Ian." And so again, lucky to be on the end of the phone and pick it up.
And then he thought of you.
Cool, because it might have been, if I don't get an answer now, I'm going to just keep on ringing down the line until someone answers.
Yeah.
So and did a trial with them and fitted right in and signed the deal. Straight away after sailing across the Atlantic, but obviously Ian and Sci-Fi and Juddy and Tooney and Parko. There's a bunch of
Wendy.
A bunch of good guys. Wendy.
Yeah.
And obviously from there was a relatively convincing win in the 65 for us, and I guess put me in good stead for the next one.
Sure.
And then obviously Charles. When Charles rang, I dealt with Charles, and I'd done a month of sailing up in China with Dongfeng before the Abu Dhabi race, and so I'd been chatting with Charles a fair bit, and Bruno, and then they obviously got the money again, and off they went, and it was initially Charles was talking to myself and Patan as watch captains for the race, and when Patan said, "Oh, I can't do it," I said, "Oh, might be able to get Stu to come along," and so obviously Stu came along, and we sort of the rest of the team was built, and
the rest is history.
Well, as they say.
As they say, Bicey.
How was that? Actually, speaking of that, like going into the finish on that one, that last night, coming down to The Hague,
Oh,
inside, outside,
inside,
upside
We've
down.
talked about this. I mean, this comes up so many times on this show. We just love it. We still love it.
Yeah. And the call was effectively made on shore before we left.
Really?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is sort of what I go back to about the preparation and everything like that with teams and navigating. Marcel Van Trist is help behind the scenes for any team's navigator is valuable. It's something you sort of almost can't put a price on. And all of the weather studies that he had, studied obviously all the charts and knew there was ways that you could get in there. Because just if you had a quick look at the chart, you'd probably go, "Oh, I can't actually go in there.
Yep,
it's not deep enough." And then obviously he said that the later we get to the top of Denmark and down, and obviously we went up to Norway, up to the well up
the virtual, yeah.
So that was even further up. He said the later you get to the exclusion zone before you turn into the Hague, the more of an advantage it is to be inside.
Wow.
He said that it's going to get lighter and lighter. The high pressure's coming off the UK, and you're going to end up VMGing and
just a super talent.
Knots.
Super talent.
And that
to be able to
exact story Caroline told us.
Yeah,
it's true.
And
so she wasn't talking shit. I believe it was you, Jordan. You said, Caroline, you're talking shit here.
I thought you were going to say, Jesus, and Daryl, you're talking shit. But
we got to a point, obviously, because we weren't that quick on a reach. We'd struggled during the whole race, reaching against the other boats a bit, and we'd got to a point where Matt Frey was, ahead and above us, and we were still pointing towards going around the top end or the northern side of the exclusion zone, and we basically did a full lights off, full speed peel from the J1 to the J0, knowing that we were far enough behind that our angle down to that mark was that was our fast angle, and we knew that Matt Frey couldn't get down there without a jibe, even if they put the zero up. And so when we did it, it was like this is it.
Stuff of legends, Boisey. Stuff of legends.
Chocolate.
Unbelievable.
And that could have been it could have been it was obviously the hero or zero. We were
hero zero is the comment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could have gone really bad.
Yeah, it could have. Yeah.
No, but there was science behind it though.
Absolutely.
And we didn't know, because when we finally got out onto the last straight into running down the coast, or paralleling the coast almost.
You didn't know how it panned out.
Well, we were still 56 miles behind or something, because that was the position report.
In a straight line, yeah.
Yeah, and then we didn't get another position report. The first sign we saw was when the helicopter came off the land and videoed and hung around for a while, and then it sort of
they're not recording fourth place.
No. Well, it was when it took off at 90 degrees to us that we were like, oh shit. Oh, okay. We couldn't see any boats.
Oh yeah, when it went back out to sea.
Yeah. It basically left us at 90 degrees to go out to the other boats.
Wow.
We could be in third here, lads.
Yeah. Yep. So and obviously an amazing feeling, and it was I think a brilliant line from a reporter in New Zealand was, "Oh, sorry, I didn't do any research on you because I didn't think you were going to win."
Oh. Nice.
Well, you got to stop talking to the Invercargill Times, all right?
Standard Antipodean thing, tall poppies, we don't care.
Yeah.
It'll be someone else.
Yeah.
Tell me,
if you do win, you're not good enough anyway.
Tell me, the edition, we just saw Phil Harmer do this little piece I won't say the brand, but raving about the A4s that were put on the 65s.
Yeah. What would you say?
Good,
Just amazing.
No, he just said, it changed the boats.
Amazing.
Game changer.
Yeah. And obviously, that's we talk about
Any good?
experience and race records and all that stuff. And Wendy's up there with the best of them. And when Patan obviously couldn't do the last leg, his sort of name was the first one that we tried to get, because it's pretty hard to replace the talent of Patan, obviously.
Yeah.
So I said, you stepping off and just getting someone else that can sail doesn't really work. I said, we've got to get someone that's good.
Yeah,
my life would be easier.
Yeah. What about if we look outside the ocean race? What are you've had some great rides. Done plenty of the Hobart. The Comanche. You got the 24-hour record on the Comanche. You're part of that show.
Yep.
Obviously, been doing a bit on the Willow. Like, what boats? Which is a 70. Which boats do you love most? Like, what's your favourite boat?
Favourite boat's still Comanche.
Yeah, everyone loves the Comanche.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And thinking, and it's how old now? Like 11 years old, 10, 12 years old, maybe.
2014, wasn't it?
No,
it's like
10
all of
years.
those. It's like all of those hundreds. All of those hundreds, they've all got a sweet spot for everyone. Everyone who sails on them, and I think Comanche's to this day is still the one, isn't it?
Yeah. We came straight off the back of the Abu Dhabi ocean race and flew straight from Abu Dhabi actually to Newport for that.
Wow!
Race where we got the record, and it was it was just incredible. We were used to sailing around at that amount of heel, and a few of the other guys weren't so keen on that situation, but and it took a couple of days to settle it in and for that to become the norm. On that trip there was the 30-30 club, and then there was the 30-40 club, and then there was the 40-40 club.
Wow.
So 40 degrees of heel at 40 knots.
Yeah. Wow. Is it an easy boat to go get that speed record? Like, it's easy to sail at that speed, or?
It's pretty comfortable. Yeah. It's quite incredibly got. It's probably if you actually look at the boat, it's not that hard to believe. But it's almost got lee helm downwind.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice to drive once you get your head around it. And it'll catch you out if you try and drive it like a normal boat.
Yeah, right.
You just end up flat and slow.
Yeah.
And
guaranteed, Jordan, you don't have to duck your head under the boom.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you do, actually. You do. That's the problem, you do. But, yeah. No, I'm doing a lot of sailing with Pywak at the moment on the 70, which is obviously the old blackjack. And that's been pretty cool. And with on the west coast of the States, with the rule, you're allowed outriggers, or it doesn't penalise outriggers too much. So
stacking as well.
Aft outriggers, and we go yachting around downwind with the masthead zero up.
Yeah, right.
With the outriggers, and
nice.
It's an amazing boat. And then the other one, the Andrews 68, it's a completely different boat. It's an old Santa Cruz, old sled.
Sled, yeah.
Okay, and this is you just did the Transpac with them, right?
Yep, that's right.
Well, let's talk about that for a bit, eh?
Longest Transpac in history. 5 days sailing west upwind.
Oh. The world's not changing.
It's what they say every time. It's never like this.
I haven't seen it like this before.
We went. This is the first one I've ever done that we've gone north of. I don't know what the island is. That it's not the first one. The one you normally go around.
Yeah.
Not Catalina. It's the next one up.
Yeah.
We went to the north of that
just to try and get some angle.
Well, you just couldn't get out. There's no
wind. The wind. Yeah. Because it was basically become for a long time, right?
Yeah, and cold foggy, misty, freezing. Absolutely all of the gear on in the bag.
Wow, that's not. You wouldn't have any gear though. It's a
That's not
Transpac.
Transpac.
You turn up in your shorts and
it's
your t-shirt.
Pretty cold.
Oh,
Pretty cold.
Jordan's doing it in his Okanuis.
Yeah, that's
got a lay hanging around his neck, so
it.
they
Lay
don't
around
need
his
to
neck.
give him one.
Yeah.
Broad brim hat on. It's a big hat, but it's a broad brim hat.
It's a big head. Yeah, no, it's not the advertisement. So you've ruined it for me, mate. I'm never going to go now. So
Yeah. Oh well, no, we had one. It was like that this year, but I don't. The next one won't be like that.
Yeah, 20 years.
No. One in every 10, 20 years.
It's like
You'll be
Probably
fine.
the one you do, George,
Yeah,
will be a
that's right.
shitter.
It's like the Brisbane to Gladstone, 1 in 20 years you got to go upwind, and it was this year. So
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you were a young, actually no, we'll focus on you for a sec. I was just going to have a bit of fun, but so you've been, obvious record, doing all these cool things. What's next for you, mate? Got much in that?
What's next is Long Point Regatta.
Yeah.
On Claude, which is a 68-foot Baltic with Hasso.
Yep.
And then straight up to the Maxi Worlds with Galateo.
Claude, is that named after Hasso's dog?
Yep.
It is.
100%.
Probably better than Morning Glory.
Yeah, I remember Claude actually.
I can tell you a story about his dogs. I think you'd find quite funny.
I was hoping you were going to say I can tell you a story about his morning glory.
No, good contributor.
Claude's the one that sat at Rue's feet on the private jet.
Yeah.
And Hasso came on and said, Rue, you're in Claude's seat. Get off.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out.
That's why he's sitting it. He doesn't like you, Rue.
And that's why Rue was holding on. It's like, what are those foot straps on the roof? They're for you to hold on to, mate.
Anyway. So with because there's a lot of action going on in that sort of maxi world, and in the Swan world, there's quite a few fleets starting to be created now. So there must be plenty of gigs out there. Is kind of my view, like as long as you're willing to be.
There's a lot of a lot of work out there at the moment. To go straight from the maxi worlds up to go for a yacht on the Raven.
Oh yeah,
the Raven.
Yeah.
What's the Raven?
The Baltic 111.
Oh yes, sorry, my mistake. Yeah, we've spoken about that.
Very excited about that.
Are they? You going to have the super duper wings on by that time?
Oh, I don't know.
They're going to sail initially without them. And
I think that was the plan, but I don't know what the time frame is.
It's
so
that,
cool.
I mean, that must be
so
like
cool.
You must be thinking about that one, just going, oh yeah, this is going to be. I mean, this could be unreal, or it could be ugly.
Yeah. I'll hold my views.
Reserve judgment.
I love it.
Well, we might have to get you to give us a call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we could do like one of those, the motoring shows. You do a bit of a review on each boat. Seeing you sailing most of the boats these days, Daryl, just a bit of a review coming through.
Star rating, safety rating, safety rating,
safety rating, 0 stars.
Performance, agility, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
What about if you're a young fella just rocked up in Auckland and you feel like you're going to be in Auckland for a month? What sort of sailing should you be looking into?
Friday
night rum race.
Probably a Friday night rum race, but I think you want to get into the sunburst sailing, mate.
I was going to say the sunburst for Bicey or the young 88s. I think that fleet might try and suck him in.
Hello. Oh yeah. There's a good young fella, Rowan Swanson. He's got a 88 there, or
I might make a few calls.
Brad Mark. I think there might even be a bloke called Dean.
Thought about that. I've got a boat for you to go for a sail on, Bicey.
Dean Barker. Oh yeah, there's the next two there.
Yeah, up in Russell.
Yeah.
Oh.
And some famous yacht designer's got his old phar as well.
Oh yeah.
And that
a lot on, Bicey.
Yeah,
don't worry. I'm not going home for a while.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do with the rest of your time, mate?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've been strutting my stuff around town where I'm living in the minute. But as it turns out, being the Soccer World Cup at the moment in NZ.
Where is he?
No accommodation anywhere.
No.
Yeah, I'm at the I'm still on the plane.
You're in first class.
I'm not getting off.
Oh, I love it.
Really sweet.
Wow. Well,
Yeah. Hey, do we talk about rugby or not?
absolutely we do.
We do.
Boise and I don't know
only
the
for the
rules.
fact that I brought my maximum amount of bottles of rum I could at duty free today for all the debts that I owe.
Actually, Daz, I was only speaking today about our little sojourn up to Murrayville or Murrayfield Park back in 2007 when we went and watched Scotland play Scotland play New Zealand.
Yeah.
I managed to score some tickets and get the boys up there. That was my little thing for the Kiwis.
And just on the rugby, as I was coming out, there's a flight from Melbourne to Auckland, and all the Wallabies turned up today at the same time.
Oh.
Mate, do you guys realise how much fucking rum you cost me?
Yeah.
You got them, did you?
I don't know who I was talking to, but
Some bloke with
he
no
might
name.
have been a coach because I definitely wasn't saying it to one of the players.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, so for the listeners who don't know what we're talking about, rugby, obviously, New Zealand is the greatest nation for rugby at the moment. And
Full stop.
And the World Cup in rugby starts in 40 days. And obviously we're excited. Australia used to be pretty good in the sport. Up until, I think it's 21 years now, the Bledisloe, which is the hugest battle outside of, it was 21 years since Australia's won it. I married a Kiwi. I met her over 20 years ago. So we have not won since I met my wife, basically.
Did you marry her because you felt sorry for her, or?
Yeah, sympathy marriage.
It's your fault, mate.
Yeah, sympathy marriage. But see, my logic
believe
is that she's just about to be more Australian than Kiwi because she's lived here longer than New Zealand. So the tide should turn. But if it doesn't, I'm going to have to get divorced because I cannot bear.
Did she give you a bit last night? Not a bit of good stuff, but a bit of a bit of aggression last night.
Every Kiwi.
Say
gives
those
you
words again.
Yeah, I know.
Rephrase that.
I dug a hole and I had to get out of it. I was listening to myself speak. Would you believe it?
Certainly, our old man rips into me. So, Darius, if you want to rip into us, mate, go for it, bud. Because you guys are on fire and you broke two of our.
Hang on.
So
Say that again. Say that again. Boise and I don't follow the game. Daryl, if you want to rip into Jordan, go for it.
I love the game.
Charged with the same brush, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. You got to wear it.
Ah, that's right. Green and gold, my friend.
No,
It's Australian
exactly.
gold.
I'll tell you,
Australian
actually,
gold, not canary yellow.
your winger, Mr. Perfect, is he not the number 14?
Perfect, because his last name's Jordan.
No, because he looks like Jesse Chook, doesn't he? Like
He's a bit smaller.
it's a little fella, you
Yeah.
know. He looks a lot like Jesse Chook. I saw, Chess is playing rugby for the All Blacks now. Oh, it's pretty good. But anyway,
Well, thanks
welcome
for
to
tuning
Park
in to
Rugby,
Park
the same
Rugby, the rugby podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. No, we got it. We were out of time anyway, so it's good. But mate, we really are interested with that Baltic 111. I think we should have a bit of a chat about that once. I don't know what you're allowed to say though. If someone's paying you to go sailing on it, you got to be careful what you say. So, but we'll
mate.
be interested.
It's a boat. Still the marine industry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You love it or
That'd
hate
be
it. This thing will be a weapon.
Yeah.
111-foot day sailor.
Hey, the last question from me, mate. When are you going to get a mullet?
If it was up to my son, probably get one pretty shortly. But but I'm too grey.
I think
Getting on, aren't we, Daz?
I can't start dyeing it now. I needed to start dyeing it 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's too.
We're getting on. We're getting on, Dad. We're getting on.
Yeah.
None of that mullet stuff.
Oh.
No.
All right, mate. Well, congratulations for everything, mate. You're a bloody legend. And the fact that you brought the rugby up's really diminished my view of you. But just keep smashing it, mate. And thanks for chatting. We love it.
Yeah.
No, brilliant.
Cheers, Sarah. See you, mate.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
Just a great story again. One of those people that just has totally dedicated himself to a belief in himself as well. Because working on the shore with him back in the day, you could see that that's his goal. You know, his goal was to do what he's done, and he's done it.
You can see
in saying that as well, having gone through, let's call it the same stage of life. So when Daryl was, sail making, I was boat building, and we kind of came through. We were on different teams and all that sort of stuff. But just to kind of see how it leads, open doors, and at the end of the day, he's not a dickhead.
I was just going to say that was.
No, he's not a dickhead, and he's quite happy to sweep the floor.
No, exactly. So you make your way into the next team.
So,
then the next
what have we
team,
said?
then the
What have
next
we
team.
worked out again?
Just don't be a dickhead.
Don't be a dickhead.
I wish somebody had
It's all
told me
about.
that years ago.
Yeah, well, yeah. You're learning, though. You're coming good. Hey, boys, before we move on, special thanks, of course, to Radix Nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably treated my body as bad as anyone could have in the last few years. Whatever it might be on planes or, with, COVID and everyone being home and just way too many mates to catch up with and stuff. Well, I'm actually thinking, why don't I do the full Radix experiment whilst I'm in New Zealand? Now, this is not guaranteed 7 days of the week, but at least, so prior to leaving Australia, I had all my bloods done.
Oh.
This is pure, I'm putting my body on the line here, gents. So I had all my bloods done.
This is the level at which we work at here.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 or 4 weeks here. It's all going to come out soon. I'm thinking of doing as much Radix as I can from a nutritional point of view,
And the fact that you've
apart from, and I've got no mates.
no cooking implements.
Pretty much, unless I buy a barbecue. But pretty much, I want to see, and this is real life testing here. Yeah. Bloods are done. Don't have tests yet. I might get flown back in a medevac. Well, who knows? But give it a go for 3 or 4 weeks and actually see what that does from a what do you call it? Physiological. Yeah. So Radix, and again to all our listeners, for the ones that follow the socials, you would have seen it during the week. You can log on radix.com.au.co.nz. You can get 10% on all your orders from now on.
That's right. And this is something I wanted to bring up. Originally, it was 10% on your first, is now 10% on all.
As long as you put in the code Bar Karate, BARKARATE, Bar Karate.
One word, capital letters.
So, of course, Radix Nutrition providing your body's metabolism with nutrients you need to perform at your peak, whether campaigning for the America's Cup, cruising offshore, simply needing a healthy meal during a busy day, Mr. Nick Bice.
Living in New Zealand.
BP Bicey's gone the ultimate doing his blood work. Wait till you hear my story of what I've done for Radix.
Oh, how's this commitment to the cause?
That's another day.
Amazing.
Another day.
We'll do that next week.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Let's get cracking.
Let's go. Other news. Shall we move it on? Club events. Oh, lads. I've got a lot to mention here, so I'll quickly. The biggest one coming up, and it is a highlight for the sailing calendar, I'm fired up, is the Sailing World Champs, 10th to 20th of August in the Netherlands. Obviously, all the Olympic classes. Normally it's 2 years out from the Olympics, but obviously everything's been compressed. So we've just had the Olympic test event and we're rolling straight into the Sailing World Champs. It's the big one on the calendar. It's the same sort. It's probably a higher standard than the Olympics because there's more than one person from each nation. So, you know, it makes it tougher.
Proper
do you
regatta.
actually reckon, and sorry, I know you got plenty here,
yeah,
your strategy as far as being a sailor like small fleet versus big fleet,
Yep.
whether there's going to be a difference,
Yep.
not your strategy itself, but basically your performance?
Well, it changes because
That makes
your
sense.
starting, because your approach to starting is a little freer if in the smaller fleet. So at the
Small
Olympics,
fleets, yeah.
yep,
Sure.
and you know you're going to carry less dirty air through the fleet. So if you do make a mistake, you've got more chance of getting back to the front. Whereas in a big fleet, you don't have that chance. So it does change the game, the nature of the game, and so in the Olympics you can take less risk to get back to the front. So yeah, no, it definitely changes it. But either or, it's such a high level, it's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
Other events, of course, I think the FD World Champs are on, the Mirror World Champs are on, the RS Aero World Champs are on, which is probably a class. I've reached out to RS a couple of times because I wouldn't mind. RS make great boats. They actually, the way they design every system it falls right to hand. So when you actually sail an RS boat, everything's sort of in the right spot. They're very good at that. Whether the boat's great or not, we haven't sailed enough of them, but RS do a good thing, and they've got a big world champs going on, hundreds of boats now. That aero definitely has taken off. A bit too flat and shallow for my knees. I can't bend my knee downwind into them, but
Need the bump cap.
Need a bit of
The bump cap and some knee pads
Add
on.
some knee pads.
Well, I just need
and a bum and a bum pad.
And a
knee
bump
drop.
pad and one of those sort of like, life jackets that make you look like you got really big abs.
Yeah. Actually, there's another thing that turned up during the week, boys. We need to get on. We'll talk about that one another day. But there's another thing that happened during the week, boss. You two aren't just doing everything. But anyway, yeah. So lots of regattas on. Go and check those out if you want to see how everyone's going. I will say there's a world announcement. We've been given a world exclusive here.
Yes.
There's a new race going to be on the Australian East Coast calendar, and we have been given the first press release directly to us. So we are very grateful. Southport Yacht Club has launched the Southport to Mackay starting on the 1st of August next year, and every year.
I want to do that one. I want to do it. I want to do it next too.
Because obviously Sydney to Gold Coast race now literally started this weekend. We'll talk about it in a minute. And that finishes right there off Southport. And then obviously trying to put your boat in at Hamo, going up to Airlie, all that. It's not necessarily that easy and getting expensive. So the idea was created to race to Mackay, and because they've got beautiful facilities up there. I've got a lot of friends in boats up there right at the moment.
Massive marina.
Yeah. So the marina's behind it, the local council behind it.
Good bananas.
Yep. They've got a big naming rights sponsor. So she's a glamour. So congratulations. The other thing that Southport, I should mention, the Sail Paradise. We talked about this last year. The timing was wrong. They've moved it. They've listened. End of September, early
because
October.
Because of us, or
because of us? Yeah, 100%.
I wouldn't have thought anything.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, but yeah. So it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, that's some big news for those who are looking for that one. I think that is pretty exciting for everyone. I would argue. Geez, our listeners of the week, boys. Is it Shopify?
It definitely is Shopify. Based on the amount of emails we got. There's no doubt about that.
Mate, don't start me.
I don't know. I haven't read one of them, I'll be
I
honest.
have never, ever had such a confusing time in my life trying to sort out our life. That's what I do for you blokes. Holy God, a rama.
Okay. So, well, for listeners of the week, we've got hate mail for the first time, but we'll leave that to last.
I love it.
I love it too. But obviously a lot of love coming from our mate Chris Bolger, who is the NASA, the NASA, the F-18s in North America. And, I mean, there's a couple of emails going on from Chris. He's a great man. Like, we're big fans of the bloke and what he's doing. And he talked about their interview last week with Hattie and the Rogers family, and how that actual family is a legend family, and he talking back in the day, thinking about the
basically his association with the Rogers family.
Yep.
with the Contessas as well, the boats, and it kind of really hit home for him. And I think it probably hit home for quite a few listeners for that matter.
Yeah. It's a great story about the Rogers family, which was really good. But the other one that he did send through is the mock-up of the Barker 80 F18 that's going to be racing in the National League.
Yes. How
Looking
good.
for. I'm thinking
Mate,
about.
I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to quit this whole show right now based on we now have a boat. Well, we will have a boat. Of course, we got John Schaefer with the
Spit the zero.
Kraken on his zero.
Yeah.
But now we're shooting around the harbour,
Mm.
doing more than
NASA
6.8 knots on the NASA fleet.
Mm.
I've got to be in the States in a little while. I might just go over there and have a little look. I've got to get on that boat.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
she's good.
Well
Cool.
done.
Cool. Okay, now
And the beauty is we actually don't have a brand book, so we can do
whatever we want.
and Chris, do whatever you want, mate.
Yeah.
Go for it.
It's exciting. Okay, now, so some great emails there. But, of course, I think we've had one negative email before, once or something, but we've got a second one.
Yeah, that was to you.
Yeah. This is probably... I won't name the person just in case they regret this email. But anyway, Maluka still going after you bagged them so much. Obviously, this was while the Fastnet was going. I don't remember bagging them. I
don't think I bagged them. So
I don't want to go around.
I specifically said I would not want to be in that start in those conditions in Maluka, but we'll chat to them about 4 weeks when they arrive.
Anyway,
and we went on to say,
hang on.
Say what size boat is going to prevail in this regatta, and I specifically said, Caro.
Caro's going to win. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yep. Okay, so you said that, and so our correspondent wrote, probably Maluka's still going great after you bagged them so much, probably having a great time and a lot of laughs, not like the crew of the Fancy Caro. They're crying in their gin and tonic. And who is in for all these people that love to go sailing and love the sport? It's not all about the fast boats sailed by rich white men, Mate, for this person, obviously we promote every type of boat on this class. Yeah, I think you may have misinterpreted what we said, but obviously Caro crying in their gin and tonic. How'd they go?
How'd it win?
In saying that, knowing who wrote that in, I'm sure that
in jest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he'll be celebrating with the crew or some of the crew of Caro that will be making their way back to the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia.
Yeah, I didn't want to put the boot. I didn't want anyone to misinterpret and call that person out, but
look, we did have a laugh. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
It was very fun.
But yeah, we got hate mail, which is great.
Love a bit of hate mail.
Anyway, so they're our listeners of the week. I had to share them.
Two in 5 years, not bad.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Hey, Snow, I'll bring a T-shirt down next week.
It's hot time with Bike.
Oh, did that go there? Anyway.
Yeah, because when he puts the music on, you can still hear us if we talk. Haven't you worked it out yet?
Gentlemen, what can we not... We got 2 major events, of course.
How good.
Fastnet.
Oh.
Sail GP.
Oh.
So at time of recording last week, the Fastnet had just got underway. Sail GP was mid-event. What do you want to talk about first, boys?
Mate, let's talk about Sail GP.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit, you've thrown me now. Let me...
Yeah, no, I was just thinking, Sail GP. No, we won't talk about that first. I was about to have a drink because you guys will crap on about Fastnet for a bit more.
Anyway, Sail GP.
Sail GP, yes.
Whoa.
Wow. Woo-hoo. How happy are we?
Bravo.
Yeah.
España. Viva España.
Yeah.
Hola,
Viva
¿cómo estás,
España.
amigos?
See, mi amigos done very mucho grande.
Muy bueno, amigos.
I love that both of you can
Enhorabuena.
speak Spanish and
Jesus,
you pretend that you
what?
can't.
We should
Enhorabuena,
actually,
amigos.
we should actually be on the
Spanish team.
on the cheer squad. Anyway,
Spanish team. How
the
good,
Spanish
though? How
took
good?
the win.
How good?
Yeah. They've come on.
About time we saw one of the big ones. One of the lesser ones for that fact.
Let's
Come
go
on,
back a
get
week
up there.
earlier. We were talking about it, and no one predicted that.
No.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, look
No.
at the three in the top: Australia, of course, Denmark, and Spain. I mean, two of those we didn't predict to be sort of. I mean, Denmark would have the occasional one, but not Spain.
But I mean,
Straight up.
they've made some great changes. They're doing the work, and young team doing a lot of work. Diego got dropped in there in the last season, and it's great to see.
We were pretty critical about that move.
Yeah.
When Phil stepped off, they shut the team down, blah blah blah, and now they've come back. They've won. Have they just pulled the masterstroke in SailGP?
I mean, Diego wasn't the skipper after Phil, but
but is this part of the plan?
Maybe, but it's good to see.
Well, I mean, you can't. You got to say it's part of the plan.
Yeah.
How do you stop momentum? You don't. You've got to let it run now. I mean, they've got themselves a win. Number one, confidence. That's a big thing. Self-belief and all that stuff that goes around professional sport. Doesn't matter what you're playing. But to have a win like that,
I mean, we're going to see
competitors now are looking at you as champions. And now you've got the ability to do it.
The good thing about SailGP is all the information shared, and they're all identical boats. So there's going to be a lot of volatility in the results. So it's great, but it is.
Yeah, but you still have to push the rudder left and right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
no, you're right. You do. So
that's how it is.
From the overall, then that changes everything. So after a couple of events or 3 events, I think we've had, Australia now lead the way with 17 points. Spain in second on 16. Denmark tied with 16, and then Canada 15. The Kiwis.
Well, this is where it gets unbelievable. The names down the bottom of the fleet.
Yeah, it's amazing. Anyway, happy days.
So, where were they? LA.
Yeah.
Good event. Is it going back there? Were they going there for money? You've got a bit of insight, Jordan, or are you
not on this one.
Those WhatsApps.
It was a really tight little course. Obviously, with
probably the tightest ever. Actually,
yeah. And then that the Adrenaline Lounge, which is a big sort of 2-story structure that all the sort of fancy people get to hang out in, was blocking a lot of the wind into that finish. They do try and like to finish it in front of the Adrenaline Lounge. It's always best if the Adrenaline Lounge is downwind, but it wasn't. It was upwind this time. So, it definitely it made coming off that top mark quite difficult. You only if you spun over in front of the lounge, you
plenty of hot air coming out of the Adrenaline
Lounge
in the US. I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, well, I wasn't there, so I wasn't as bad as normal, but Sailor Girl was there, so she certainly can contribute. So, it's good. And then I think we're back into Europe now. We head over to Saint-Tropez. Ooh la la.
Saint Tropez.
Yeah.
Drinking the rosé on the white couches.
September. So we're
gonna have to really scrub up on our accents. We've got Saint Tropez.
Oui.
Hola, amigo. We've got some good stuff going on.
Well, you guys are pretending, so I know it. You can speak. Right. Okay, let's go. Fastnet.
All right, let's go Fastnet.
Fastnet.
Before we talk Fastnet, quick shout out to our Aussie contenders. Disco Trooper.
Yep.
We had Jules and Yarn. What did they have? 14th.
Look.
In the two-handers.
Two-handed. Fantastic effort out of 100. Let's remember that.
Mate, 14th out of 96,
finishes.
Mind you. 44 finishes in the two-handers.
Yeah.
ISO 38th, ISO overall 38th. Kilo 2, one of the absolute classic boats, which has spent many year in at the CYC.
Roaming the planet lately.
Paddy's boat, SNS 37, ISE 0, 12th. IRC overall, 121st.
Right.
How many boats started again?
100.
Like
394
2,000 or something?
but 394 in IRC overall.
Okay, here we go. This one's for you, Snow. Sean Langman, Maluka. IRC 4B first
Oh,
Yeah.
overall.
Well
nailed
done.
it.
Nailed it. IRC
Good
4,
sailors.
4th. Oh, mate. How good. So, apologies for the 5th person on board, but Sean's son, Gordon, and Josh on board. Enjoying a little champagne around the rock.
Yep. Gorgeous Gordon
Congratulations.
out there having a quality.
IRC overall, 117th.
Yeah.
Well
As we
done,
said, big boat.
Maluka.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to the overalls.
Overalls, let's go to. We'll start at number 1.
Reverse
Caro,
curse.
of
Reverse
course.
curse.
Reverse
Reverse
cursed
curse.
it, yeah.
Couple of
Who was
Aussies on
on-
board, so we love this.
Was Bubsy on that one?
Bubsy's on board, yeah.
Yeah.
Bubsy's on board, Will's on board,
Oh, yeah.
Rhino's on board,
Yeah.
and of course, brother-in-law.
Oh,
Paddo.
James, yes.
So is Paddo?
But
This
there's
is the
wicked
question
yellow.
I
I've
was
got for you.
thinking that the other day.
Is
Guys,
Paddo the
gonna go one
most
step-
coveted
Yeah,
sailor
Offshore sailor
in
in
Australia at the moment?
Yeah.
he's unbelievable.
Ichiban? He won the IRC Nationals
Yeah.
on Secret Men's. He's won the Fastnet.
Won the Hobart. He's won.
Wins every race. He just wins.
He's a winner.
Mate.
He's a
But
winner.
I've
He
gotta
married
say-
your
I've gotta
sister.
say, you know
He
how we
married
talk
your
about-
sister. Total winner move, that one.
Mate, Jordan, just
She's a-
stop right there because you
I'm
know
not
how
saying-
much trouble.
She loves me.
You've
I
been
can
him
get away
before.
with anything.
I've got to say though that we've got the reverse curse thing going. We've definitely nailed this one. But also I've got to say I had my hands on that boat and replaced the entire cockpit floor. So it's got to be because of the cockpit floor.
Oh,
Yeah, no, you're right. You're
It's all about
100% right.
Yeah,
It was
nice.
the new cockpit floor.
Nice.
More
Well done.
grip, more grip,
Well,
and
as
softer
it
underfoot.
turns out, I built the next boat, which was Jarjo
Oh,
You did.
VO65.
it's all. Everyone's been reverse cursed. The whole
Everyone.
fastnet.
The whole fastnet. We nailed it.
The TP, well, if you want to call it a TP, just call it a 52 Warrior.
Mm.
I'm in third.
Mm.
Well,
Just
it's a
trying
bit
to-
of
I'm just
reverse
trying to
curse
think what
there
we've
with
got-
Will.
Will
Will
are we
on the,
related to that anyway?
Oh, well, apart from the Navigator. Yeah, Will.
Well, Oxley.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
very close.
correct.
There. Yeah.
And
Well done.
Wind Whisper, who was relegated from 2nd to 4th.
Mm.
Now, I must admit, I do not know the actual story here on why they were relegated, but whatever. Congrats. Not sure if it was weight, or sales or anything like that, but whatever it was.
At the top mark at the 4
Yeah, it could have been Port Starboard.
Oh, the BP curse.
But you know what really blew my mind?
No.
Well, apart from the course records, given it was like the second time round for this particular course,
Oh,
Massif,
yeah. Mm.
2 days, 7 hours,
Mm.
monohull.
Mm.
Yep, pretty good,
Yeah, very
by
good.
the way, straight
Yeah.
out the box.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
And Lazard Twigwell, or whatever
Yeah.
they want to call his boat. The old team, 1 day, 8 hours.
Yeah. I
Just a
couldn't
little-
believe that.
Mate, I've done more time at the Ramsgate than that.
Yeah.
So that's ridiculous. What really blew my mind, Mocha, 29 starters,
Yeah,
26 finishes.
Yep.
Mm.
that's
Mm.
super cool.
Mm.
Yep, super cool.
Based on that first 12, 24 hours.
Mm.
Well, I have had some comms with a
Well
couple
done.
of people who were in the race, and they said it was brutal,
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the interesting thing, I liked, some of that footage. I think there was up at the castle or whatever it was, where you was watching all the different divisions come past. So I was watching that on YouTube, and the setups, with the IMOCA boats, with all the modern boats that could step their foresails back. So we've lost bicycle. Yep. So But the older boats had the little jibs hanked right up on that forward stay, and then the main a long way back. It just
Looked out of balance.
It looks out of balance. Yeah, the more modern boats with everything up furling, everything being able to change. It just looks much better for ocean racing.
Get the centre of effort closer together.
Yeah. It's a big thing. It's a big thing.
I agree. Righto. Well, what else? Oh, Caro, of course, had a big win. Fantastic.
I think we mentioned that.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say it again.
No, that's all. Hot time.
Yep. Okay. With the ongoing race, congratulations to all those in the Sailing Champions League results. I'm not going to read out the winner.
That was massive, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was huge watching
Mate,
that.
imagine the organiser.
We've lost you. Turn your video off for a sec. Imagine the organisers. We lost you, boys. Yeah, he's frozen. Anyway, so we'll just say, yeah, obviously, I can't even pronounce. You're back, boss.
Go. Imagine the organisers, boss. Go again.
No. Okay. I'm just going to say the winner in the worst possible Aussie, Alanska Siegel Carpet. Scape. Anyway, congratulations to the winner.
Didn't make any sense at all.
No.
What you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway.
They're the winners.
The winners, lots of fantastic clubs there. It looks really intense. It looks really intense.
I mean, I was watching some of it, and it looked fantastic. I mean, it was, different conditions.
Yep.
And it provided for a really cool regatta, and every one of those people that were there deserved to be there.
Yep.
And it was great looking.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Okay, cool. All right, so we Southport to Gold Coast.
Southport. Now, let's talk about the Southport.
Sydney to Southport or Sydney to Gold Coast is an event that started yesterday. And so the boats are basically what they're doing is heading north to Hamo for Airlie Beach, Airlie Week and Race Week and Hamo Race Week. So there's a series of races that get you north, and this is one of them. It's on the East Coast. The only 100-footer in the fleet is leading the way. They've got 100 miles to go, so that's Andy Comanche. Got a gap of about 30 miles.
Painfully light event right now.
Yep.
The majority of the fleet, even the TPs, even Whisper, the 60-footer, hasn't even made it to Coffs Harbour yet. Now, for those who know the coast,
it's not far.
That's not very far up the coast from Sydney.
Not for a day and a bit. No.
It's right. I mean, I do remember doing this race. I've done it quite a few times. I know I remember doing it a few years back, and we actually got the anchor out.
Yeah.
Off of Byron Bay.
Yeah, wow.
The anchor out.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. Because the tide goes south, and you're heading north. And we tried sailing a few times, and you'd go in, and you'd come out, and you'd be in the same spot when you went back in again.
Yep.
Let's just figure. Let's just rest up.
Yep.
Testing.
Yeah, you're back.
Oh, he's back.
And gone.
No, I didn't hear a word you bloke said. So carry on.
Yeah. Anyway, so
we're just talking about the Southport, mate. So lightest race, a severely light race. Comanche, 100 miles to go. Celestial looks to be leading the TPs. Whisper's not even at Coffs Harbour yet. I mean, it's painfully slow.
On the ratings though, in the two-handers, Stacey Jackson and James Whelan on the Sunfish leading the way there. So congratulations
Sunfish.
there. Yeah. You know where that name's come from. URM Group is leading overall on the IRC from what I understand, but as BP said, she's going to be ugly.
Looking good. Yeah, well, I'm looking at Celestial here, and the original routing had them in Monday afternoon. I don't get them into Tuesday, Wednesday at this rate.
Fair enough.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, and it's been done before.
That's slow. Anyway, Yowzers. Cool. Anything else, boys?
No, all good. But I'll be coming to you live again from Aotearoa next weekend. So
and BP,
stay tuned.
And BP, where are you next weekend? Are you still in Australia?
Still in Australia. I'll be in Europe the weekend after.
Okay. Cool. Very cool.
Bloody awesome.
Excellent. All right, well, good episode. Good to chat to Dazza and, all that conversation and, happy days, of course.
Feeling so New Zealand. I might go and read a Foot Rot Flats book.
Well, and for those listeners listening in, of course, remember that if you are looking to ramp up your nutrition, of course, Radix is now sponsoring the show, and you do get 10% off all your orders. Just use the code BARKARATI, one word, at radixnutrition.com, and Radix for anywhere in the world except for Australia and New Zealand, I think, and then radix.co.nz for those in Australia and New Zealand. Did I get that right, BP?
No.
Tell me what...
Radix.com.
Just Radix.com.
Radix.com. Just go there. You'll find your local dealer.
Radix.com for everyone else.
Radixnutrition.com. Just say it again, BP.
Radixnutrition.com.au for Australia, radix.com for the rest of the world, and you'll get your food delivered to you.
Oh, that's wrong as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fuck, we're used
Anyway, you'll find it. Google Radix. You'll get it.
See you later.